Hello Sagittarius, welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie and this is your January 2023 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. There will also be a timestamp in the description box if you would like to jump to the start of the reading. We are going to be going over a lot of information for this month, Sagittarius, so please do remember that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading. Only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Let's jump right in and see what you've got going on for you this month. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us, please, what is Sagittarius's theme for January 2023? Okay, thank you. Tell us, please, what does Sagittarius need to know to start the year off in alignment? What does that... Okay, thank you. What is Sagittarius's opportunities for expansion or opportunity? I'm gonna have to get that. 1 second, Sag. Whole lot of energy packed into those. My gosh, I apologize. It actually hit the cord for my light here. So I do apologize for the shaking of the camera. All right, let's see. What does your soul want you to know, Sag, for this month? What does your soul want you to know for this month? Okay, thank you. And what does God want you to remember this month, Sagittarius? What does God want you to remember? Nice, clear message, please. What does God want Sag to remember this month? You're healing. Nice, clear message. What's going on here? There it is. Thank you. I do feel like you're healing, or you're given the opportunity to heal, Sag. Tell us more, please, about Sagittarius's theme for January 2023. There it is. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Sag needs to know to start the year off in alignment. Tell us more, please, about what Sagittarius needs to know to start the year off in alignment. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about Sagittarius's opportunities for expansion. Tell us more, please, about Sagittarius's... Yep, thank you. Tell us more, please, about what Sagittarius's soul would like them to know for this month. Thank you. Tell us more, please, about what God wants Sagittarius to remember this month, please. Tell us what... Okay. Thank you. All right, let's jump right in. Your theme for this month, Sag, is... We have Halls of a Mentee Initiation, Secrets Revealed, Treasures Uncovered, and Initiations. So I don't know why I'm getting this, Sag, but for some of you, I feel like there's this like dark time. Like I feel like you've been going through a dark time, or January could feel like a dark time for you, right? Because I feel like you're going through this transitionary period, and I feel like you're like not yet out of where you once were, but not yet in where you're going. And so it's this period of like what I would call like darkness, right? I feel like there's a lot of unknowns, or there have been a lot of unknowns for you. I feel like there's been a lot of shifting, a lot of things being stirred up, brought to the surface. And here's the thing about initiations, right? In another deck that I have, there is a card that talks about initiations and thresholds and things like that. And on the outside, right? So when you're coming up to, say, the entranceway, right? It's dark, it's scary, there are snakes, there's, you know, all of these things. And then it shows you, you know, kind of a glimpse into what's inside of there. And it's this beautiful, colorful, bright space, right? So it's essentially like, in order for you to cross that threshold, you're going to have to be willing to face that darkness. You're going to have to be willing to what's the word, Lord? Yes, thank you. Trek where others may fear going, right? Because it's like, if you want to experience something different, you have to be willing to go where others aren't willing to go, or they're not willing to risk, right? Or if you want that, right, like that thing that's amazing for you, you have to be willing to trek through the shit. I mean, and here's the thing that I've been learning, right? And this is just in my own personal experience, okay? So I'm just offering it from my perspective. What I've been learning is like, to live, there comes, and to experience this thing we call life and all of its beauty, there comes a certain amount of suffering that we have to experience. It's essentially bearing our cross, right? How would we know what the light is if we don't first experience the dark? Right? And that's what I'm getting here. So again, I feel like you could have been experiencing this feeling of darkness, but it's through darkness, oftentimes, Sag, that we have our innermost workings revealed to us. Our innermost secrets, our innermost treasures are often what are revealed when we are going through a state of darkness, or a period of darkness, or unknown, or uncertainty. Okay? So I feel like that's a theme for you right now, right? This kind of uncertainty. And I do feel like it's like an initiation period for you, a test of sorts, right? Wow, you have here the divine matrix, interconnectedness, synchronicity, and God incidences. Yeah, so first of all, let me just say, like, nothing comes from nothing. And I have 3 more signs to do after you. Few of which have gotten this card. There has not been one single sign yet that has gotten this card. And this card for me is always very powerful because it's that God incidences. In other words, things are divinely orchestrated in your favor, right? So this is happening for you, Sag, right? I don't know, I just feel like I need to read this part, a message for you for the theme here. I feel like there could be a little bit more for us to gain. So just give me a sec. Okay. So yeah, so here we are, right? Your theme, keep that in mind. You are in alignment with the oneness of life and the inner workings of the universe. You are part of something great. That means that you are greatness expressing itself. Not one thing in your life has happened by chance. Even when you've felt that things have been against you, a process has been unfolding, helping you understand your connectedness to all things. So there's no need to feel insignificant or lonely. It's also important to remember that the universe is always working in your favor and for your highest good. You may have felt loss, but know that nothing is ever lost. For we're all held in the heart of Source, and love is our connection to all things. Right, so again, like I was saying, essentially God moving in your life for you, right? Orchestrating things for you. Yeah, and you know what's fascinating? So you do have, to clarify these 2 cards, the 2 of Pentacles. And the 2 of Pentacles, first off, is about balance, right? Notice those pentacles balanced beautifully in that infinity space. It's also this energy of like juggling the many facets of yourself, or finding balance within the many facets of yourself. Right? Can be about balancing decisions and things as well. But I really feel like there's this, I feel like this is working for you, right? The theme for your month is to bring you into this balanced state, right? I feel like there's an energy of like bringing you out of this darkness. I almost feel like this is something you've been going through, because I keep seeing it as like coming out And even if you look, so how it's on the table for me, even if you look at it, so I'm looking at it from this way, this side to this side, right? It's darkness here. And then there's like this white pole, and then it gets really bright here, right? So I really feel like there's this movement, like balance being brought back in, where you're like coming out of the darkness and coming back into the light to find balance, right? But I do feel like, again, there's like some choices that need to be made here. Like, are you going to be willing to take the risk, to face the fears, right? To put, and it's interesting because the Two of Pentacles can also be this energy of like priorities. So are you going to be willing to make the end goal, the greater thing, right? The new experience, the priority, or are you going to let fear be the priority? And right, I just feel like you have some choices to make in regards to how this energy progresses, because I feel like if you're unwilling to make the choices, and if you get into a state of overwhelm, I feel like you may not move at all, and you could potentially find yourself stuck in that darkness, right? So what do you need to know to start the year off in alignment? You have third eye activation, brow chakra, inner vision, and clear seeing. Yeah, so, you know, again, I feel like it's part of that inner vision, knowing that, or rather, yes, thank you, like knowing somewhere inside of you, having that inner knowing, that inner wisdom, that moving through the darkness, or venturing into the darkness, as it were, you will always eventually find light, right? That you're being guided somewhere for a reason. It's that inner vision, that I see things from a perspective that many may not, right? So I feel like that's going to get you into alignment, is looking at these things from a different perspective, gaining that clear knowing, right? And I feel like God has been trying to show you, or will try to show you as you're moving through this, that you are awakening. I feel like you could see signs of this in various different places. Maybe it shows up in conversation, right? And it could be just something, you know, as simple as, oh, well, he went, or so-and-so dyed their hair and they went from dark to light, or, you know, like conversation like that, or maybe seeing things on like social media in regards to like black to white, or, you know, from shadow to the light, or something along those lines, right? Moving from one place or one way of being to another. I feel like you could be seeing those sorts of things, because I feel like God is trying to show you, right? It's trying to like get your attention. You also have here the Page of Pentacles, which says to me like you're learning to be able to see these things, right? It's going to require you to be focused. You've got to focus, Sag. In order to get into that alignment, you've got to be willing to focus, because you have to be willing to see. You have to be willing to see clearly, and again, focus. Like that word keeps coming in heavy. Focus, Sag, because I feel like that is where you're going to be able to see the next steps, where you're going to be able to see what is actually taking place. Okay? And I do feel, I just want to tell you, I feel like I'm talking so fast. And here's the thing. I feel like it's because I feel the energy for you is picking up, or not be, maybe it's not even energy, but your path, like the rate at which you're growing and expanding is picking up. I feel like there's movement, momentum, right? Because I don't know. I mean, I know I talk fast generally, because I'm always trying to be like very conscious of not talking too fast, but I just feel like I'm like talking extremely fast, like faster than normal in your reading specifically. I don't think I've talked this fast in any of the others I've done so far. So I just want to say that I feel like there's movement and momentum that's being created for you. So opportunities that you have for expansion, Sag, what I want to share about this particular part of the spread is that when I created it, I was very intentional about the words I chose. And so the opportunity is exactly that. You have an opportunity for expansion, but again, like I was speaking on just moments ago, in order to be able to grasp it or take advantage of that opportunity, you have to be present in the moment. You have to be looking, you have to be paying attention. Not only that, but you have to be willing to take action when the door is open for you, right? And you have to be willing to seize the opportunity. So what do you have here? Merkaba activation, transcendence, ascension. You are rising like I was saying. You have an opportunity here to transcend the things that have previously kept you limited, to move from one way of being to another. But again, it's going to take you allowing this ascension to happen. And oftentimes when we allow that, it's like we have to be willing to step through that door and leave behind some things as well, right? So I don't know how this, I feel like it's going to show up differently for everyone, the opportunity, right? But it's likely to be something that maybe scares you a little bit, but excites you a whole lot. Which is really interesting because I don't think I've ever said that before. And if I have, I don't remember. Pardon me, my gosh. What else do you have? Sacred inner space, sacral chakra, tenderness, and sensuality. So yeah, you know, here's the thing about this card. With it essentially says that parts of yourself that you've hidden away, parts of yourself that you've shoved down or ignored or denied or, you know, what have you, is essentially those things being turned on, like coming online, right? You now have access to those things. And I feel like this is, again, an opportunity, right? There's an opportunity for you to have access to these things, for you to tap in to these parts of yourself, which I feel could potentially be helping you to move forward, right? Could give you that opportunity to give you that, essentially what I would say is like a leg up, right? For you to expand. It's like giving you that oomph, giving you that thing, that extra something that you need in order to just kind of boost you, right? At the same time, I do feel like there's a note here to be tender with yourself, because going through this type of expansion, this type of growth, this type of ascension, and it feeling as, and if it is happening as quickly as it feels to me as I talk about it, then it's likely that there's going to be a need for you to be tender with yourself, to look after yourself. And I feel like that could also be a key point in your opportunity to expand, right? Because I feel like if you're not paying attention, if you're not willing to take care of yourself, right? I feel like, how do I word this? I feel like it could end up like stressing you out or burning you out or creating this overwhelm, okay? You also have, yeah, you have here the Ace of Swords, which is beautiful because, again, first of all, it's an ace or a one, which is an opportunity, potential. That's what ones represent. But with the Ace of Swords, this is breakthrough and clarity, right? So you have the opportunity, again, like I was saying, for things to like turn on, for things to come online, to bring things forward, for you to be able to rise up, for you to be able to move forward, for you to be able to expand. It brings that breakthrough for you. This is absolutely incredible. Because I feel like if you are able to navigate the energies, if you're able to stay focused, right? And if you're able and willing to allow certain vulnerabilities, certain risks, I feel like once you come out the other side of January, like you could feel a lot more, like you could feel differently, right? I'm not saying that it'll be this, you know, incredibly profound shift necessarily. I just feel like the energy that you've been feeling, what may have subsided or changed, right? Because it feels like coming out of that darkness, right? Coming out of whatever that is that you've been experiencing. So your soul wants you to know you have infinite potential. Like you're in this period where you are able to experience growth, where you're able to experience a new beginning, right? But it is about taking an opportunity. What do you have here? The Five of Wands in the reverse. This is about respecting differences. It's also about avoiding conflict. So here's the thing. and this is really interesting. I feel like your soul wants you to know, Sag, if you're able to respect the fact that your experience is far different than somebody else's, right? Somebody else experiences life far differently than you, right? And you can respect the differences that you have with other people. And if you can avoid conflict, I feel like you have a tremendous amount of potential available to you. Because here's the thing, we're constantly manifesting, whether you want to believe it, accept it, acknowledge it or not, we are. And so if you're in the state of, like, for example, conflict or anger or stress or burnout or, you know, those sorts of things, that is what you're bringing back to you. It's what you're bringing into your experience. And so I feel your soul is saying to you, like, if you can avoid conflict, right, and avoid bringing these lower vibrational frequencies in, you have this opportunity to really expand, to really soar, to step into this vortex, if you will, of potential, right? But it's like literally putting your energy into things that are more important than conflict, more important than the differences that you have between, you know, you and whoever. It's a period of change for you, or it can be, but it is based solely upon your decisions and what you decide to do. Like your soul saying, like, hey, if you can stay out of conflict, we may be able to bring some new things in. Right? It's not, I don't know. And it doesn't have to be conflict with other people necessarily. It can be conflict within yourself, right? If you can respect, like, how do I say this? If you can avoid the conflict within yourself and avoid resisting, right? Change. If you can avoid that, then I feel like, you know, there's this potential available to you. So what does God want you to remember or keep in mind as you move through the month of Sag? Wow. You have serious star blessings. God says yes. God says yes. Proceed, be seen, and to push through. So again, push through. That's the words that are standing out to me. Proceed and push through. Why? Because again, right, I was sharing with you that other card that had the scary exterior. But once you cross that threshold, that's when things get beautiful. That's when things get amazing. And I feel like God is showing up, or standing here to say, showing up to say for you, keep going. Keep in mind that we're trying to get to the other side, right? Don't get bogged down by what's right in front of you. Push through. Proceed. Keep going, right? Remember what we're going for. We're going for that blessing. So keep moving forward. I actually just heard the words, feet don't fail me now. Right? Keep going. Keep going. That's what God's saying here. Okay, so you have here as well the 8 of Cups, which, I mean, here's the thing, sweets. My sweet, sweet Sag, the 8 of Cups is leaving things behind. It's leaving things behind. Like I said, proceed, right? Leave behind what needs to be left behind so you can keep going, right? Let go of anything that isn't serving you, right? God's also, ooh, Sag. Dang, this is like, I mean, so here's the thing, like, this comes with challenge. It absolutely does. But this is like, and I've enjoyed every one of the readings, but like yours is like top tier. Like, this is absolutely amazing. Because you also have the world here, right? Like, I feel like God is saying, like, there's so much more to the world than what you've seen. There's so much more for you to experience than what you've seen. Right? There's harmony to be experienced. There's beauty to be experienced. There's adventure to be experienced. Right? That's how I'm seeing this. Like, I'm seeing this literally as like the world is available to you, right? If you should allow yourself to move forward. And I think that's incredibly powerful. Not only that, but the world is a representation of completing cycles, right? Finding fulfillment, harmony, right? So it's essentially like God saying, like, leave that stuff behind, right? Keep going, because the world is at your fingertips, right? You have the opportunity to find fulfillment here, but you have to keep going. You have to be willing to take the risks. You have to be willing to look your fears in the face and keep going and persevere to face them, right? But like, look at what the reward is though. Fulfillment, harmony, completion, right? And I mean, here's the thing. We go through these experiences, these cycles, right? Where we start at the beginning of the major arcana and work our way through to the world where we find this, where we complete that stage. And this is what you're doing. Like, you're going from one way of being to the next. And God is saying, keep going, because you're nearly freaking there. Right? You have here the sun or page, or excuse me, knight. The sun or Knight of Cups in the reverse. The Knight of Cups in the reverse is somebody who is like unwilling to follow his own heart, right? Because the Knight of Cups in the upright is somebody who's going to follow his own heart. He's going to be a bit of a romantic or an idealist, right? But, you know, in the reverse, it's like you're not following your own heart, and you're kind of living in this fantasy world, right? And it's interesting because it's like a fantasy of lies, which is, I mean, just whatever, right? But there's this moody type of energy that comes with this as well. And I feel like there's a couple of things that God could be saying here. One of them being with the knights, right? It's like they've learned a lot and they're ready to get out and to experience things. But the problem with that is that they tend to see things in black and white, right? They haven't really had the opportunity to apply what they've learned to a lot of like real world experience, if you will. And so they think of it like a student like coming out of med school, like fresh graduate out of med school, right? Like they've got a lot of times they're going to take what they've learned from the book or from, you know, the university, and they're going to apply that in their experience, in their real world experience. And then once they've done some time, you know, in clinicals or residency or whatever it's referred to, I don't even know, I'm not a doctor, right? But once they've applied, you know, that knowledge out into the real world, and then they kind of get a feel for things, and then they kind of, you know, put their own little something in with it, right, in the mix of things. And that's kind of, you know, that transition as you move in from, you know, the page to the knight to the queen to the king, is that that growth, you know, that transition from learning things and then applying it and then discovering, you know, bits of yourself within it and then mastering it, right? And so I feel like, you know, there's this element here of understanding that you're kind of a noob, right? Which is fine. It's fine. I want you to know that, like, we're all there, right? We're all constantly going through these stages where we're learning, we're novice, right? We're noobs, and then we kind of gain a little bit of information, and then we start to master things, right? So we all go through it. It's fine. It's no big deal. There's not a problem with being in this more, you know, I would say like immature or inexperienced energy, right? Oftentimes it's better that way because we're able to, you know, put our little twist on things. But nonetheless, I just really feel like that's part of the message. And then I feel like the other part is, you know, making sure that you're following your heart, right? Don't, like, I actually heard, like, don't turn your back on your heart, right? Don't turn your back on your heart. Take that as it resonates with you, right? It's like, don't take a step back into the fantasy world, right? And I feel like the fantasy world is the one that you're moving out of. Okay? Like the one you're transitioning out of, I feel like, is the fantasy world. And that could have to do with like old behavioral patterns, limiting beliefs, outdated ways of thinking, traumas, wounding, programming that's not serving you anymore, right? Just, it's like, don't backstep. And you can take that how it resonates with you, right? Because I don't want to discourage you and to say like, if you backstep, there's something, you know, like the whole world's going to fall apart or your whole world's going to fall apart, because that's not necessarily true. It's just make sure you're following your heart. Make sure you're in alignment with what you feel is best for you, right? And to the best of your ability, stay focused on what you do want, not what you don't want, right? Stay the path, stay the course, stay focused. Oh, okay. So I just have to tell you, I just heard the words, don't waste the opportunity, because I actually just saw this as like dumping out the cup. Okay. Dumping out the cup. And that could come from, I'm actually getting this, that like fickle type of energy, right? That could come from that. Like, so for example, it would be like, let's say somebody handed you a cup full of dirty water like your whole life and kept telling you it was clean, and you know, the water's clean, here, take a drink, and you're like, you go to drink and it's dirty, and every time it's dirty. And so, you know, now somebody hands you a cup and now you're like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. Right? It's essentially God saying like, don't do that. Right? Like don't take the cups that are being offered as, oh, I'm just going to dump it out because I don't trust it. Right? Don't have that fickleness about it. That's how I'm seeing it. So take that as it resonates with you, Sag. But my gosh, like this reading for you has me so freaking excited because it's very straight to the point. It's probably one of the shortest readings that I've done for this month. And I love that because it's, again, it's straight to the point. It's like, no, there's, you know, this is what needs to be done. And it's up to you. And I think that's absolutely amazing. But there's incredible opportunity here for you to grow and to really step more fully into what you're capable of, or your life path and the unfolding of your life path and what you have to be able to offer to the experience as a whole, right? Like your world, what you can experience there, and then how other people experience you. Like there's just, I feel like there's so much growth. There's so much growth. And it's absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me, Sag. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you. I really do appreciate your time and your energy. I want to thank you again for being here. If something in this reading has resonated for you or been helpful for you in some way, shape, or form, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting, or smashing that subscribe button. It really does help the channel to grow. It tells YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else to see, and so they push it out to more people. So again, I really do appreciate that. I pray that your month is full of confidence, expansion, power, bravery, courage, and the ability to like move forward. Like I'm actually, you guys, like I'm actually saying this like, you know, a knight with a sword, like onward, right? Like that's how I'm saying it. And I hope your month is exactly like that. Have an incredible month. Take care of your beautiful, amazing, magnificent soul. Remember that you've got this and God's got you. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.